Hello everyone and welcome to AFriendlyTree's dialogue. Today I have Daveyin joining me.
Hello, I am this weirdo on the camera.
I want to remind everyone that this new series, AFT's Dialogue, the whole point of it is to learn about different players. So I'm going to have a series of different people coming in so they can talk about their origins, talk about their character, talk about what they enjoy about the series, different fighting games and the community. So to start things off, Daveyin, I'd like to talk about your origins. So go for it.
Where do I start? Actually, hold on. So, am I allowed to swear in this? I'll try to keep it down.
Keep it to a minimum if you can, but there's nothing saying you can't.
Okay. So I got started with Tekken 7. 30% or something of players nowadays or something who started with 7.
There's a huge increase in the community since Tekken 7, absolutely.
Yeah. So I was like every other child born in late 1990s. I grew up with Tekken 3 and Tekken 2 on the PlayStation 1. Never was too into it, but I think that's mainly because I was a baby and I was really young and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But I really liked Yoshimitsu with his glowing sword and the fact he can go in a propeller. I managed to do it once as a kid and I was so frustrated I could never do it again.
That's an interesting point, because things like that are so iconic, and the amount of people you hear that say, I love Yoshimitsu, but I could never figure out how to use his sword, or things like that.
Yeah! When you're really young, you don't think, oh yeah, this one corresponds to this limb, but you don't make the connection, or I have to do this, direction and a button? What? I can press 2 buttons? What? My mind is blown.
Alright, so that's your start. So you started in Tekken 7, but you played other games when you were younger?
Yeah.
Other iterations of Tekken?
My first proper exposure to it, though, as a more mature person, if mature can even correlate with me, was Tag 2. I was about 14. I was at a party with a mate of mine, and him and his mates were playing Tag 2. I'm like, oh, dude, I remember playing this when I was younger, and I wanted to play it. And I was silly, and I wanted to learn Harang to start off with. And my mates are like, yeah, no, you should probably not do that. I'm like, Yoshimitsu then. That's still it's better. It's still bad.
What are your thoughts about that then? So, how do you feel that you had a character you liked? You're like, I want to use this character. And everyone's going, nah, don't use him. Don't use that character.
I felt a little bit annoyed the fact that I liked how this character looked, but I was kind of guided away for it. But I knew the fact that, this character could be really hard. So it's probably best if I play someone who's a bit more easygoing. Because at the time I was super into Dota 2. I'm like, oh yeah, there's some simple heroes, but there's also really hard heroes like Invoker and Meepo who are super button heavy. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can just relate to that too. So
yeah, you've got to try and find an archetype that matches you, but at the same time I think it's important that you enjoy the game. So I don't think we should be leading everyone, oh, you're starting, you should use this character. I think people should pick who they enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Although, least for Tekken, I feel like that's fairly easy. But at least recently, with me trying to get into Street Fighter, oh boy, that's...
Well, I mean, that's the thing with Tekken. I mean, you've heard me say it many times. I don't feel like the archetypes are as well defined in Tekken. So, I mean, we've got so many generic tools like down forward 2s, hop kicks, down forward 1s, so many terms that just, go from character to character, that it is much more possible to learn another character and then change freely, opposed to other fighters where the archetypes are defined and you know, you can't go straight from Ryu to Zangief and expect that it's going to carry over as effectively.
No. No. Also, I keep finding myself, like, whenever I do, like, wall pressure, I always keep finding myself wanting to do down forward 1 at wall, but Jerry doesn't have down forward 1.
Oh.
After that, I tried playing Yoshimitsu, realized Yoshi was hard, and Tekken was very complex, and I went, nah, I'll just watch it. And then about 4 years later, when Tekken 7 was released for console, I was at my best friend's place. He had got it. I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember playing that game. Well, trying it. And I'm like, oh, sure, I'll play a couple games with you. And I did poorly. He kicked my ass to a gigas. I'm like, you know what? I wanna be able to play this with you. Like, I enjoy playing. I enjoy spending time with you and enjoy playing like card games and stuff like that. So I'm when I go home, I'm going to stop at a game shop, buy Tekken, and I'm gonna practice it for a week.
Nice.
And
So is that how you really started playing the game in sort of a higher level? Was more so you could relate to friends?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like literally. Oh, can I say who it is? Because I'm fairly certain you know who it is now.
I know who it is. It's a mutual friend of ours. Yes.
Yeah, mutual friend. Like, I was at his place. I think I got almost a week. No, I think I ordered it online, and I got a week, just shy of a week before the launch on console. And I'm like, okay, sat down, and I just went hard out, like going in treasure battle and practice mode. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I sent our friend like God knows how many messages.
You
And
have
I'm
to.
like,
I mean, that's another common thing brought up. It's not in the game. It's not. The information isn't there for people. So when you're trying to learn, you have to go elsewhere.
Yeah, like frame data. Like, I don't think there's anything in the game that says like, oh hey, this move is 10 frames fast. It's just
No.
going. I'm like, I have to learn frame data. I have to learn how far. Like, what? No, I just want to press buttons. I want to kick. I want to kick people in the face.
Absolutely, absolutely. A lot of that stuff hasn't been apparent until recently. I mean, they do have like the hit analysis where the character would light up, and so you'd have a little bit of a suggestion, you know, with hit and block recovery and whiff recovery, but it wasn't defined or clear. So you just be like, oh yeah, they're dark for a while, then they light up.
Yeah, like even then it's still like a little bit ambiguous. Like, what does that mean? I'm just keep going and ignore that.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So your gamer tag is Daveyin, but that's of course got nothing to do with your name. So
Yeah, my name's Tyler. A couple people have been really shocked when they find out my name isn't actually Dave, and I find
Yeah.
that incredibly amusing.
there are a few people around my community that have similar gamer tags that might have a name that is not relevant to their actual name, and people can go years without realizing that's not their actual name. So how did you stumble across the name Daveyin?
Oh, Okay, so when I was in intermediate, like second year, I
For
started
those of
picking
you who
up-
don't know, intermediate is about your 7th year of schooling.
Yeah, 7th to 8th year. It's I think Americans call it middle school. I think
so.
that's the same thing.
Yeah, they don't have intermediate here in Australia either, so I've said it a few times and people have been like, what? Or if they do, it's not as common.
Sorry, I was in year 8 or 8th grade or whatever the Americans call it. I was in bed one night and I'm like, I want to draw something. And I was really into the Skullduggery Pleasant books at the time. I'm like, I want to draw my own character from that series. So I got pencil and paper and I started drawing a very, very basic character. And when I finished, I'm like, he needs a cool name. And I just started throwing letters around in my head. and started getting syllables and stuff, and Daveyin just kind of popped out.
Ah. So Daveyin is
Yeah.
actually the name of some of your artwork then, that you've adapted as your gamer tag.
Yeah, it's my OC, do not steal. Yeah, it's my original character who is my icon on Twitch and
Yep.
Steam.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting
Fun.
to know. So it's real, genuinely original content of yours.
Yeah. Also, if I can be a bit of a shill for a minute, the profile I have on Twitch and Steam is by a good friend of mine called, I think he goes by Dr. Riptide on DeviantArt. It's a good friend of mine. He does really good artwork. I would highly recommend it.
I think you also promote them in the About You section on both, don't you?
I believe so.
On your Twitch you do, I know. I recall you did.
I believe it's on my Twitter as well.
Yeah. So, hey, that goes into the next part. So, what about other interests? Do you have other interests that kind of relate to fighting games? So, clearly, art, graphic design, things like that. You actually made this overlay that I'm using right now, of course.
Yeah. And I look at it, I'm like, wow, I did that? Wow, I could have done so much better.
Oh.
I mean, it still fits the purpose, but I am very rusty when it comes to graphic design. It was something that I was not great at, but I'm still really into when I left high school.
Yeah. You've got other interests as well. Well, what do you want to talk about, hobby and interest-wise?
Do I have anything? Oh, no, this is just normal playing cards. I play card games.
Card games, yeah.
Yeah. I played Yu-Gi-Oh for I think 2 years.
Okay.
I think I started in 2012 and stopped in 2014. Whenever it was that Pendulums got released, because holy crap, Pendulums were bust on launch, and wow, they were not fun.
There are so many rules and mechanics in that game that it confuses me, and I feel pretty confident with the rules and mechanics in Tekken. But you go onto Yu-Gi-Oh! And I mean, look at the anime itself, where in the first season I remember that Yugi wins a game by not aiming at the opponent but aiming at the moon, and therefore wrecking the tides, and therefore the opponent that relied on the moon and relied on the tides of the water could no longer fight.
Was that Mako guy?
Yeah,
guy
Mako
with the
Tsunami.
That's the
I remember
one.
that. So that kind of summarizes my understanding of the game, and every time that I've looked into it, it seems like there's some new mechanic that's been introduced, or the ban list has been doubled, or things don't work as they did. It's very confusing.
Dude,
And that must...
I stopped looking at Yu-Gi-Oh! For like a couple years, and I come back and suddenly there's a freaking mechanic called Links. Like, what the hell are these? I can't
and it's
summon unless
crucial
I
to
have
the
a
game
Link
now.
card.
You cannot play without it, I'm guessing.
I think they changed it so you don't have to run Links anymore. Like in the
But
new,
you did. I don't know
yeah,
what Links
you
is.
had
I'm
to.
just saying I know that if you look away from that series, or just competitive card games for a while, they introduce something new and it becomes crucial to the meta for a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitive card games are super expensive. Like,
Oh yeah.
you have to keep up with like every set and buy like, in at least Yu-Gi-Oh's case, like 3 of like meta card or something like that.
So I guess
remember-
that would be your equivalent to like the arcade scene back when you had to pay like $2 a game for Tekken to get your ass beaten and then stand back at the back of the line and wait again to pay another $2.
At least you got to play. Like I remember, I think it was, I want to say Shadowverse, but that's a completely other thing. It was some dark set for Yu-Gi-Oh! I went to the pre-release for it, and they had a new XYZ card called Executor something Swan. It was some silver beetle that had some stupid busted effect.
Yeah.
And before it even came out, it was valued at, I think it was close to 200 New Zealand for
Wow.
one copy.
Yeah.
It, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to collector's items like that, they're very expensive. Well, they can be
Oh.
very expensive.
It wasn't even like a collector's item. It was just like, oh, you want to play the game? Buy it, or else you had to play like super suboptimally.
Wow.
Whilst everyone else has like a deck with at least $300 worth within like 3 cards.
Yikes. Well, that definitely helps get an understanding of the competitive side. So do you think that helped you with Tekken at all? Or with fighting games at all, I guess I should say?
Indirectly, yes. Because if it wasn't for Yu-Gi-Oh, I would not have met my best friend.
Oh, there you go.
Or to get all sad there, sweet. I also, I don't quite do it as much anymore, but Nick can attest to the fact that during multiple periods of time, I was super into shiny hunting in Pokemon. Holy crap!
Now that's a hobby and a half. When you look at the statistics, the odds, I mean, there are a lot of ways like the shiny charm and what is it called, like the egg hatching methods and international stuff that can definitely help, but it's still the probability of getting shinies and getting a shiny with good IVs and the right nature and everything that you need is intense. That's a different type of competition. It's battling yourself and battling random number generation.
Oh, dude. Thankfully, like IVs and natures aren't really.
Oh, they changed that for Sword and Shield, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
You get to level 100, you can
change
change those
now.
things. Yeah, well, that makes it better.
From wasn't Oras? I think it was Sun and Moon. You could train Pokemon to have optimal IVs, but they weren't inheritable. It was just for that one.
Okay, yeah.
And that carried over to Sword and Shield. But Sword and Shield allowed you to actually change natures, which is fantastic because a couple of my favorite Pokemon had really bad natures.
Yeah, fair enough.
If I can share a really stupid story.
Yeah, go for it.
I can't remember if it was Black 1 or 2. I tried getting into competitive. I never did. Like, even now, I never got into competitive. But I really love the Kabutops line, like Kabuto and Kabutops. And I really wanted to get a competitive Kabutops. So I started getting Kabuto eggs. I'm like, dude, this is taking forever. I spent like hours trying to get the right nature, and I literally said out loud, dude, at this rate, I'm gonna get a shiny before I get like the nature I want. And I didn't have shiny, literally full odds, like 8,142, I think it was, or 92.
Something dumb.
Literally got a shiny before I got the nature I wanted.
Yeah.
I was so mad, but it was so funny. It wasn't even like a great nature. It was like hasty, like faster movement speed for less attack, which is kind of suboptimal.
I bet Kabutops would be underused here anyway. So you got all that, and then it wouldn't even be too viable.
No. Like the only good time to use it in, like, it's like in a rain dance team, which is kind of niche, kind of like a gimmick.
Yep. They did a few, I think it was Sun and Moon again, that they made a few weather teams a bit stronger, but generally, yeah, I think you're right, it was pretty niche.
I haven't told you about my Poliwag story, have I?
Poliwag story? No.
Is it Politoed, the frog evolution from?
Yes, Politoed.
Okay, so at the time, I'm like, I'm gonna get a competitive Pokemon team, but I like shinies, so I'm gonna get a full shiny competitive team. I got like 4 different shinies that were competitive: a Toxapex, a Ludicolo, shiny Gyarados, not the silver one. I literally bred a shiny Magikarp just for it.
Yep.
And there was one other one I can't remember. But for the Poliwag, I'm like, hold on, I need the hidden ability.
Oh no.
It's not too hard to get it. So I always chained it, and I think I ended up with 6+ Poliwags trying to get a hidden ability shiny Poliwag with the right nature.
My head hurts thinking about the time that would go into that.
Actually, it wasn't too bad because SOS chaining was kind of like a side thing you could do. Like, oh, you can watch a video or play a game and just be like, oh, okay. Tap like 2 buttons and just let it go at it.
Yeah.
But I calculated it, and I think if my math is right, the chance was something like 2.17% chance to get it.
Lovely.
Yeah. It was very frustrating, but it was kind of nice. I was like, oh, shiny polywag.
Yeah, good on you. Okay, well I can definitely see how gaming, competitive nature of cards, and art can all kind of overlap with Tekken and fighting games. Okay, so now I want to focus in on the characters. So we know we've got Lei Wulong as your main character here, but I just want to know why you picked Lei Wulong. Woo. Sorry, it's a bit of a mix up there. Why did you pick Lei Wulong? Tongue twister. And what was your journey to this character?
So I don't exactly remember why I was interested in him, because I think I talked to you about Lei before he was announced for Tekken 7 one time. Like, oh, how did Lei play? And I think from the way you described him, he sounded like a really fun kind of not obnoxious, unorthodox character. With being
That's a good way to describe him. Expressive. Expressive is the word I'd like to use these days.
Yeah, expressive is a good way to put it. Yes. And I liked him in Tekken 3 as well because he had a pretty cool outfit, pretty cool music, and he just seemed kind of like a really silly, goofy character, and I liked it. Oh, yeah. Also his ending cinematic in Tag 2, where he has that fight with is it Marshall or Forrest? I think it was Marshall.
The ending there, sorry.
Yeah, he acted like such a goofball, and I'm like, dude, this character's like.
There were lots of goofy endings there. I do need to ask very quickly, so I'm sure you're familiar with the fact that Lei Wulong is a Jackie Chan character. Are you a fan of Jackie Chan? Do you like the movies?
Funny you say that. I have not watched too many of his movies. I think the only ones I can remember watching were I keep wanting to say Big Time Rush, but that's a band.
Rush Hour.
That's the one, Rush Hour.
Maybe we can get some people to comment on this video below of any Jackie Chan movies they recommend Daveyin watches.
I did actually look up Jackie Chan on Netflix, and I'm like, yeah, I should watch some Jackie Chan movies, because it's something that was recommended in the Lei Discord. I think it was just like a joke. I'm like, yeah, every lame player should watch Jackie Chan. Yeah.
Oh, I think they should.
I might as well.
If he's based on a real life person, why not learn about the real life person?
Yeah.
It adds more depth to the character, doesn't it? You can go, oh, so he does this move in this way because Jackie Chan does this, or Jackie Chan does that, you know. It's interesting. But anyway, you didn't start with Lei, and that's what we were getting into just before, so...
Oh, God. Do you want me to start with, like, the very first character I touched in Tekken?
Maybe briefly, but skip forward a bit after that, maybe.
Okay, so first week that I started playing Tekken, I played Steve because too many buttons. I wanted to worry about attacking with 2 buttons and dodging with 2.
Okay. Little did you know that there's a lot of complexity to that character.
Oh boy! Yes! I tried playing him the other day, and oh, wow, my brain hurts. There's so many... You have to be ambidextrous to play the goddamn character. Holy cow.
He's not easy to use. He's strong, but he's not easy to use.
Oh, definitely.
But okay, so you went from Steve.
Then after that, I went to Eddie, and I think I stuck with him for a while. Like, a month or so? Because, you know, every person who played Tekken 3 is like, oh yeah, Eddie Gordo, he's the man. He's like the best character.
Oh, Eddie has a cool reputation. A lot of people love him. Although a lot of people aren't too happy with what they've done to him in Tekken 7. Anyway, that's a story for another day. So, okay, after Eddie...
Then I went to Claudio.
Claudio Serafino, a newer character.
I stuck with him for a wee bit longer than Eddie. And this is roughly where I was starting to get a bit more footing as to what character I was enjoying for a while.
Yeah.
Then I think roughly around the time I met you, and you suggested Asuka and Leo.
Yes.
I think I played Asuka first. Didn't like her because my execution was garbage, and then I went to Leo.
Yeah.
So I mained Claudio and Leo for a while.
Okay. Because Leo has some higher execution stuff, but I guess it's not really necessary.
I think it was stuff like Asuka is kind of a bit more rigid. Like Leo, you have the quarter circle forward movement.
Yeah, Asuka didn't.
Yeah.
But you do have the E-slide motion for falling rain, and you've got the cancels and the spins, and the forward 3 backs, and the while standing 1+2 back, and forward 2 down, stuff like that.
All that stuff.
And the instant forwards, forward 2-3 for combos. Okay, but yeah, you stuck with Asuka for a very long time, didn't you? So Asuka was your main for, it feels like, a couple of years.
Yeah, it was Claudio and Asuka for about a year. It was mainly Claudio for, I want to say, 6 months. And then I went to Asuka, and I stuck with her with my main for... Are we almost on the 4th year of Tekken 7? It's almost 4?
Well, we're about to start season 4.
So I think I was with Asuka for about 3 years.
Okay. And then after Asuka, you moved to Lei. So what made you go from Asuka to Lei? Was it just that he came out?
So I tried picking him up in season 2, and at that point I detested stances because I'm like, I have to go into the stance, I have to find a way in, out of the stance, and there's different moves. Like, oh god, there's so many things. And then I realized, like, not too long ago from now, I'm like, what the hell? It's just a part of his move pool. What am I doing? I'm dumb.
It can seem daunting at first, just like any large move list.
Oh yeah, like when you look at his move list, it's like.
Do you like his Tekken 7 design? Because you said earlier you like his older ones. You like it?
I like his old design, but his new one makes him a lot more kind of approachable, and it's a really weird way to describe him, but he seems like that really fun dad that your friend has that you just want to hang out with.
I like it. Alright. I agree.
That, and I thought it was a bit overdue, the fact that I needed to learn Lei, because there's a couple Lei players, which I don't know if it's just because I started playing them, but there seems to be a lot more Lei players popping up in OCE, or at least in New Zealand.
I mean, there are a few around, but it's still a pretty small community of Lei players within OCE. I know a couple around Australia, a couple around Melbourne, but yeah, there are quite a few in New Zealand as well. Yeah.
I can think of, 3 in New Zealand, I think.
Yeah.
At least now. But I decided it was about time I learned how to play against Lei, and I had been wanting to play Lei for God knows how long because the character was just really cool. So I picked them up, and I went, I'm going to learn this character, so help me. And it was time consuming. Not hard, just time consuming. Sweet lord, it'd take a while.
Yes. I mean, that's often the way with a stance character. And that's why I brought this up, because I wanted to look at the move list. So he has 172 moves if you include all the throws and strings that they have in the move list. That is large.
Yeah. Although it feels daunting when you look at it, but when you actually play him, it doesn't feel like you have 174 moves.
Yep, fair enough.
feels like you have like 20 of or something like that.
Yep. I just want to ask quickly. So I know you've gone from quite a few characters as you've listed. So if Lei wasn't in the game, would you still be playing Tekken at the moment?
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd still be playing Asuka.
You'd still be playing Asuka. Yeah, fair enough.
I probably probably would play Falcon Lum because I think his combos are pretty cool and his design is really fun, but he's so dumb. And I can't bring myself to play someone like Leroy or Falcon Lum. Like they're really, like visually they're really good. I love Sugar. Oh my god, she's so cute.
Best character in the game.
She's so precious. I want to cuddle her small face and then dry my hands because she's probably slobbery. But yeah, I can't bring myself to play those characters because I would just feel bad.
Okay, well, it's up to you. However you enjoy playing the game, whether it's a strong character or not. Because, I mean, Lei's not really regarded as a strong character.
He's got a lot of flaws.
It's because of inconsistencies, and I think it's kind of like people say with Nina, you've got to work very hard for the reward, don't you?
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of, like, fake pressure as well. Like, down forward, 1+2 forward. People think that you can do like a mix-up between Tiger 4 and Tiger 2-2, but you can just fall standing forward. Like
on block, you mean, right?
I think on hit it works.
I know on hit you can you do the backdash though, can't you? So you can interrupt both of them, but he's got options still.
If you don't do down forward 1+2 far enough, then if you backdash, you can still get hit out of it. So it's mainly just trying to get that spacing.
Yeah.
It's still a bit of a fake mix-up. Like, I think you can, if they don't go into stance, you can hit them with like a down 4 or something like that, something generic.
Okay. What if I do that? Oh, I need to be hit, right? Okay, so range specific, you think?
Yeah, I think it has to be like towards like the tip range of down forward 1+2.
Yeah.
And also, I think you have to do like the movement cancel, so back, forward, back.
Oh, back, forward. Oh, no, that was a... So you think back, forward, back to do it?
I think so. Just getting that extra
I probably
spacing.
A bit slow then. I mean, that parries.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Okay, next thing I want to ask is, what about your favourite move? What's your favourite move with Lei?
I have two.
Yeah.
You know one of them. But my favorite damaging move is drunk back 1+2. Because it looks so damn silly. And it's a launcher.
So hey, the main combo that people do off this is that.
Yeah, ballroom into Phoenix 2.
Yeah.
But you can do a bit more of a damaging combo.
You've done one on me once, I remember. So what's the input? What is it?
While standing 4, I think it's 4-2, 1+2, 1, and then the normal back turn stuff.
So,
it might be just 1+2, 2 after while standing 4. Sorry, I'm very bad at remembering what I'm not in game. I just know of me.
I remember you doing forward 3.
Oh yeah, it is forward 3. Sorry.
Like that, and then
Lei, man. Back
like that, right?
4-1. Yeah. And then I think you can do 4-3-1-2.
Okay.
If you
so, boom.
Move and cancel.
Oh, whoops. Oh, come on. Ah. Like that. Oh. I can see how it would work.
It might just be because of Lei's idle stance.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey.
Yeah, I can see how that would work. Anyway, I think that's a cool combo because it's a bit different to what you normally see.
Yeah.
So you see, you got two favorite moves. Is the other one drunk 1+2?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know this is part of your script as well. Totally not scripted, by the way. Sorry. Exposed. I I really want Drunk 1+2 to recover a little bit faster. Like,
Yeah.
not like half as fast, just when he does like the kind of tipsy forward bit animation, I want him to be able to block roughly around then, because I feel like the recovery is still a little bit too long. Like sometimes I get hit when I feel like, oh, I should have been in recovery.
It does
Like,
have a lot of recovery.
Yeah.
Like, can I do this? If I just do something like...
Yeah, if you did that, I think you could run up and forward 3 him.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
I think the only time that you get guaranteed healing is off his normal down forward 2 combo, finishing with forward 3, 4.
So
Or
this
if you
one?
do... Yeah, that's the one. Or if you do his generic 1+3 guy, and you only get one sip.
Yeah, that's not bad, but I mean, people are going to break that more often than not, I'd say. He doesn't have a great throw game.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, though, because he bounces off the wall, and he has, since walls have been in Tekken, he can splat the wall and deal damage to himself.
I love the fact that with that grab, your opponent's body can break the wall, but you yourself can't. I want Lei to chuck himself into the wall and break it, just as like a troll strategy.
Fair enough. Okay, so we've gone from your favourite moves. What's the character's most irrelevant move? What's a move that you think is useless for the character? Or needs a change, needs a tweak?
The generic one people go to is typically like down back 1, which is his Sitting Snake. But I think that's mainly because Sitting Snake in itself is just a bit of a bad stance.
Yeah.
And sidestep 3+4 down.
Sidestep 3+4 down. Yeah, I mean that is super unsafe even on hit.
Yeah.
Have you found any use for that?
I haven't tested it. I've been meaning to, but there is someone who posted a tech in the Lei Discord saying if you hit the opponent during tailspin with sidestep 3+4, you get some sort of tech thing. But even then, it doesn't even look like.
No, it seems them flying away.
I don't think it's practical at all.
Maybe near the wall if you want to give up a lot of damage. Because that's 7 damage at 50%, so 14 damage on normal hit. 15 damage, okay.
I think sidestep 3+4 is mainly for like stopping your opponent from teching or something like that, and you get like a back turn mix up or soming like that. I read it a while ago.
So to cancel more than anything that you're saying is what's the point, right?
Yeah, like why is the transition just so bad? Like he can go into that. Like I have no problem. Just why is the animation so flashy but so pointless?
Yeah.
Just have him fall on his arse like he does when he does like the 3 drinks and from drunk or off back.
He could just go straight into that or something, right?
Yeah.
Instead of twirl.
Or just even do like 1 spin and just fall on his back.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Is there anything else about Lei you want to talk about? What about favourite combo?
Favorite combo?
Yeah.
Oh, I do this way too often, and it gets me killed more often, and I should learn from it. Magic 4. I love doing Magic 4 combos.
Look at that, I'm pressing 1+2+3+4, and it was doing that. So, yeah, when you say Magic 4, you mean because of the forward neutral 2?
Yeah. I think
Is that the combo you do generally? You do forward neutral 2, 3 of them?
Yeah, typically, but that's because I have pretty bad muscle memory with that. I think optimal damage-wise is forward neutral 2, forward 3, back to 4.
We were talking about how awkward it is on Lei's idle stance just before.
Yeah, like the fact that Lei steps to the side is kind of ruins it as well. And the fact that it's
Yeah.
2 lays mean it's even more off-axis.
Yeah. Do you like his idle stance? Do you think it's cool?
It's cool. I mean, it fits the character. But it's horribly annoying when you're in practice mode.
Yeah. Is it, does it affect much? Like, except for this situation, are you aware of it affecting much in the game? Like, for example, you know, Eddie's idle stance means that he can't step as well. It can also make opponents' combos whiff more easily.
I haven't found a situation.
So, I mean,
like
clearly
that.
his counter hit 4 combo whiffs more easily because of it. Because of the axis. So I guess characters that are affected even a tiny bit by axis are affected a lot, aren't they?
Although I think it's mainly because like Magic 4 is kind of an annoying move. Like it's below average of the average like Magic 4.
Well, his is 12 frame plus 5 on hit. What is it on
really
block?
bad on whiff. It's Neg 9, I think.
Neg 9, yeah. Yeah,
Like,
I
the
mean,
amount of
it's-
times that someone has sidestepped me and launched me for doing a Magic 4 is... You think I would have learned by now.
It's I mean, it's not bad. He's got easy pickups. Well, not easy, but he's got okay pickups off it. It's kind of like Ling's one, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there are other options besides 4 neutral 2, but from what I've seen, 4 neutral 2 tends to be the easiest one in terms of like consistency.
Yep. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about relating to Lei?
He has a lot of bad habits that he can teach you, like pressing buttons when you really shouldn't.
Well, in many
like
ways,
the-
he's an evasive character, isn't he?
Yeah,
When you think
but
about
when it
it's like
comes
his
to like
stances and I guess
the
his hell
stances are
sweep.
where it gets you into trouble though. Like, oh, you could do like 4 neutral 4-1, and I don't think any answer from Tiger is guaranteed. Like they can deck jab you out of all your
We're only
options. I
plus
think.
3, so it's the same situation as that.
Yeah.
Are you a bit closer?
I think so.
Hold on, let's reset.
Yeah, I think you are a bit closer.
Yeah. Moves
Oh,
a lot, doesn't
actually,
he? Yeah, you're a little bit closer.
I think Tiger 3 may go over it, but I think the risk reward for it just isn't quite there.
Yep.
If they do a dick jab.
So the difference, I mean, the difference here as well as the range is, yeah, if you do this, they recover standing, so they've got access to more of their moves. While with this, they recover crouching.
The
The opponent I'm talking about.
Yeah,
So that's why you're saying a dick jab. So even with down forward 1+2 into Tiger, they could still do a dick jab, but they do it while standing 4 because they've got an 11 frame mid. But maybe for a character that has like a fast 12 frame mid, like, let's say Feng, because Feng's back 4 is really good with it's you know, he's not going to be able to evasively step that either. So a back 4 would probably shut down everything here, right?
I think so, yeah, because I think his fastest option is 15 or 16 from Tiger.
2, 15.
15, yeah, 15.
Yep.
Granted, he can do he can move forward to try and parry, but I think that leaves you neutral if he
Yep.
parries, or he can just not go into the stance, and if he reads you doing like dick jab, he can no parry it.
Yeah.
Or if you want to do something really dumb, down foot 2 and counter hit launch them from crouching.
I think this string is good, but it's more for that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
as you can see, the startup there's 10, and it's a forward neutral input. So as you know well, you can make that a 12 frame punish, and a 38 damage 12 frame punish is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's also insanely good at wall if you get counter hit.
Oh yeah, if you get
Oh my
that
lord.
at the wall, because you've got a good hit spark there.
Yeah.
61
then-
damage into the wall combo. That's crazy.
The respite wall combo with upward 3 which I think with Outrage ends up doing about 100 damage,
Yep.
which is insane.
Crazy.
But yeah, Lei can kind of teach you some bad habits if you're not keeping aware of like what the opponent does. Like you can kind of just turn your brain off and get away with it sometimes because your opponent may make a bad read or
Do you
not
think
understand the
it's
character.
so? You're meaning like there might be some flowcharts that you develop because you're fixated on going from stance to stance and transitioning because it's such a large move set. It's hard to figure out where to use what, and so you get into these patterns.
Yeah, I think so. Or it could just be somewhere between. You see some people do it like is it Suiken or Suiken?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, Swicken.
Yeah. Not saying he's a bad player. He's fantastically entertaining to watch.
He was great as that boss recently. Boss character, boss player.
That was super entertaining to watch. But if you go back through one of his games with speed kicks, he does down forward 1+2 forward into just straight into Tiger 4, and I think it may have been on block.
Yeah.
And new players to Lei, or some medium players such as myself, may think, oh, okay, well that's a mix-up. You can get away with that.
Yeah.
No.
But I mean,
No.
as you said before, a lot of the stuff with Lei isn't true. So it's more about figuring out what the opponent's going to do and doing a read based on that. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say that's a bad habit this weekend. It's more just about people watching and not realizing what he's doing.
Yeah, it's. I'm not saying it's a bad habit. It's more of the fact that it's more of a read.
It
and
is.
Some
it's a
people
read,
may
yeah.
not understand the fact that just because someone does it that situation, it works every situation. It's just like, okay, well, this person doesn't do this on when I do this, so I could probably get away with this option.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, so that's all I have to say about like. Oh, actually, 12 frame punish 4-1, best feeling in the world.
4-1-2.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, 4-1, yeah. I do 4-1 because I go into stances out of habit. But yeah, I landed it in a game once and I lost my mind and I'm so proud.
Yep. You did it against a Kazuya down for 2, right? If I remember
Yes.
correctly. Yes. That must be a good feeling.
Oh,
And using the replay feature now, you can actually confirm it was a punish too. So
Yeah.
that's very exciting.
Like Lei can be a super basic character to pick up and play. Well, not pick up, but like he's a very basic character once you understand them fully. But he can have some pretty difficult stuff to do.
Oh, absolutely. So the next thing I want to talk about is the community. So this is both online and offline. It's Tekken and other things. I just want you to tell me a little bit about, I guess, your community. So, I mean, you're a Christchurch player, just like I was.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about the Christchurch fighting game community.
I don't really know where to start. We have Rambats every 2-3 weeks.
2-3 weeks, that's good.
We have people who typically go to Rambats are like typically regulars. Like if you see one face there, they typically be there like the next time Rambats is on.
So lots of regulars. And you guys do things outside of it too, don't you? Like, I think I remember seeing people were going out for meals after the Rambats, things like that, or you might have some of the community might have meetups outside of the Rambats as well.
Yeah, a couple times I organised to have lunch with everyone, or dinner. I think it would be dinner when we end with all the boys that go there. But we don't do that too often because not everyone is able to spend the money on going to like Monster Chicken or something. Fantastic food, by the way. Oh lord, their chicken's good.
How many people do you have go to the Rambats? What would you consider like an average day there?
It's a modest amount. I think we have roughly 14 people. Not 100% certain on that.
For those of you who don't know, Christchurch isn't the largest place, so you're looking between 300 and 400,000 people living there at the moment.
I'm not sure actually.
I'm pretty sure. The last I checked, that was the numbers. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty good for the size of the city. And then, of course, as a whole, you're a part of the New Zealand fighting game community, which is spread out through the country, of course.
Yeah.
So, as well as the Christchurch Rambats and the meetings there, you've also got majors that happen around the country, including some in Christchurch, don't you? Can you tell me a bit about those?
Well, we don't have too many nationals. We have the main notable ones are Red Zone Rumble, Southern Cross Up. I feel like there's one other one, and there's one that we had earlier in the year. I think literally just missing out just before the lockdown.
Yep.
Which was Sub-Zero Scuffle.
Yep.
Am I getting that right?
Sub-Zero Scuffle held in Dunedin, a notoriously cold city.
Oh, right. Okay, I see why it's called Sub-Zero. I just thought it was because they wanted something named after, like, a character or something. I get it now.
It's just like how Christchurch had the Red Zone Rumble after the earthquakes.
Yeah, because our town's bugged. Sorry, I probably shouldn't laugh about it.
No, Christchurch is doing very well now. I've been back many times and I've seen how much better it is, so...
Oh, yeah, it's kind of surprising, like, if you look back at how it was before, like, it's way more, like, modernized. It's kind of freaky. You can see a lot more sky as well, and it's kind of weird.
It's impressive. Okay, so of the majors, the biggest one that most people would know would be Southern Cross Up, and that's actually coming up very soon.
Yes.
Are you going to it?
October 9th? Yes,
October 9th.
I'm going
it's
to
in
it.
Hamilton this year, which is a change, isn't it?
Yes, because it's... excuse me, sorry. It's normally in Auckland, I believe.
Yeah.
But at the moment, Auckland is kind of turned to bricks. So...
You've had some COVID issues up there, I've heard, although things are much better now.
Yeah, they're getting better. Not fantastic still, but better.
Yeah.
But I don't keep too up to date with it. I think last I checked, we had 63 cases active.
Okay. Well, New Zealand's been known to be doing pretty well through COVID. But anyway, that's a different topic. So, Southern Cross Up is coming up very soon. Are you going to it?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. You're entering, I think you're entering more than Tekken, aren't you?
Yes. I'm a bit of an impulsive person. I was watching a mate of mine play Street Fighter, who goes by the name Reno, and I think we were talking about Southern Cross Up at some point. I'm like, you know, I should enter Street Fighter because I've been trying to learn the game, as I mentioned earlier.
Yep.
And I'm like, screw it. I'll pay the extra $10 to sign up for Street Fighter. Like, oh, what's the worst that can happen? I learn from it. I get knocked out instantly. Oh,
it can be tiring trying to play multiple games at a tournament, but it can also be very rewarding. And if you're traveling for a tournament, it can be quite nice to have multiple games that you're playing, just to break the monotony. Not meaning to make the game sound boring or anything, but just I guess to have more variety while you're up there.
Well, it's not the monotony of the game, it's more the event, because sometimes you're just waiting around for a while to have a game of anything, really.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's not a game you're into, like, like Smash or something. Like, oh, well, it's nothing else to play, I guess I'll have a crack at Smash. Oh, no, they're having brackets. Oh, okay.
So you're playing multiple fighting games. Are there many people around the community you know of that play multiple fighting games? Tekken players that play other fighting games? Because it's commonly said that Tekken players just stick to Tekken.
In Christchurch or New Zealand, you mean?
Let's focus mostly on Christchurch. There are quite a few in New Zealand that play multiple games.
I can think of about 2 or 3 people who play other games. I can't remember which one's which because There's two players. Actually, no, I think they both do. FG Shap and Crazy Head. I believe they're brothers. If I'm getting the people correct.
Oh, yeah.
I think FG Shap plays Dragon Ball mainly.
Dragon Ball Fighters, yep.
He plays a lot of other games. I don't think there's many games he hasn't played in the fighting game genre. His brother plays games with him, but not to the extent that he does.
Okay.
He mainly sticks to Tekken.
Yeah.
Other than that, we have an Akuma main who doesn't play Street Fighter.
Nah, fair enough.
I brought that up with
good.
him many times. I'm like, why don't you play Street Fighter? I'm like, he's like, oh, I just don't like the mechanics. I'm like,
None of the characters in the game gel with him. Akuma's a Tekken player.
I'm like, that's a bit weird.
That's fair enough, and it's nice. It's nice to hear that Akuma's not only bringing Street Fighter players over, but new players are also liking him and joining the game because of it.
Yeah.
So that's a positive. I did want to ask you very quickly. How do you find going from Tekken to other to 2D fighters such as Street Fighter?
I struggle a lot.
Yeah?
Probably way more than I should. I want to resort to my muscle memory with my generic tools. I try to move a lot, which in Street Fighter is a lot more heavy than Tekken, because if you dash, you're vulnerable, but you cover a fair bit of ground.
You're often locked for about 18 to 20 frames, I think, for a lot of characters.
Something like that, yeah.
And you're not invulnerable during a backdash. You're airborne, but you're not invulnerable. As weird as that sounds.
And characters have like different move speeds, health as well, which is weird to me.
Yeah,
but I can understand it. It's
jump
just...
speeds, health levels, stun levels. You're right. I mean, Tekken used to do that. Characters used to have different health levels in Tekken in the past. But yeah, it's different, isn't it?
It's different from 7, and it's very weird. Like, does Mortal Kombat have different HP per character?
Oh, they did. I don't think they do at the moment. No, they do. They do. Yeah, they do.
Oh, okay. I found more aerial combat-based 2D fighters a bit easier to get into.
Just because the formula's similar for combos?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Like, Mortal Kombat, it's like, oh, you hit them in the air, and while they're in the air, you can hit them.
Yeah.
Easy enough. Dragon Ball Fighters, oh, you hit them in the air. They're vulnerable in the air for a certain amount of time, or frames.
Yeah.
But in Street Fighter, it's kind of finicky how it works. Sometimes they're in the air, sometimes you can hit them, sometimes you can get multiple hits depending on what you do. I'm 100% certain it's purely because I'm not familiar with the mechanics. I'm getting there, but jumping from an aerial-based combat system like Tekken to Street Fighter, it's very weird.
Yeah, fair enough. So do you think it's mostly the combos and the movement that you have trouble with? What about things like meter management? Do you find that tough?
Oh god, meter management. I forget I have meter.
I mean, meter management's in Tekken now, but not with Tekken characters really, except Lisa.
I forget Akuma has meter sometimes. Like, the games that I do well against Akuma, I click to the fact that Akuma has meter, and I have to sidestep fireballs to prevent him to get meter. And games that I do poorly, I completely forget that meter exists.
Yep, easy to do. That management is tough. And then you get into lots of other games like BlazBlue or Guilty Gear, where every character has their little mechanics going on as well, so you don't only have meter management, you've got resource management. I mean, don't get me wrong, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat have some things like that as well. But it becomes a bit more complicated. You've got to be very aware during the match of what's going on.
There's like character-specific stuff, kind of like the
Yuri has
roses.
her Fuha charges, for example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her charges, and if we go to another game, Soul Calibur, there's characters like Amy who have the roses, who unlocks different moves depending on how many she hits.
Yep.
Setsuka, who gets different buffs depending on
You get different
certain...
damage buffs with different moves and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
That sort of stuff. It's very. It just adds that little bit extra to the injury barrier, and it's very daunting.
Well, what? I don't need a clear answer here. I'm just asking out of curiosity. What do you think would be more challenging, going from Tekken to a 2D fighter, or going from a 2D fighter to Tekken?
I feel like it would probably be easier to go from 3D to 2D because you already know how to do the back forth movement. Tekken kind of has a whole bunch of generic stuff that you have to learn for generic fighting games, like range, footsies, punishment, stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of the basic mechanics of a fighting game do carry over. Yeah,
but there are a couple things that do make it a bit harder for 3D players to go from Tekken to like Street Fighter, like jumping. I had to repeatedly ask my friends, like, I know jumping's a bad move, but why do you do it? Like, what's the mentality behind it? How do I not get it?
think of it like when you're using lay with the mix-ups. Down forward 1+2 into Tiger 4, it's only bad if it gets blocked.
Yeah.
And even then, it's only bad if it gets punished. So likewise with jumping, people say, oh, it's bad, it's a bad habit. It's only bad if you get punished for it.
Yeah.
And if they're only anti-jabbing you or something and getting very little off it, compared to if you do a jump and you get an attack and you get half life, you're like, oh, okay, well, the risk reward isn't really there to stop me, to disincentive me from jumping. Yeah.
And a lot of players tend to jump in as well because, oh, I can get it, like, jump in 4, I can get, like, massive damage from that. And you realize kind of quick that, oh, wait, no, that's kind of impractical. That doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you may get, like, a hit from jumping, but not, like, a full combo, unless they're, like, stunned or something.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, I want to go back to asking about the community, and I guess I want to just ask about how you feel, or how you find the difference between the offline community and the online community.
I find the offline community a lot more accepting and a lot more friendly.
Yeah.
At least from my experience, which obviously results may vary. I take my opinion with a grain of salt. But in the Christchurch scene, just about anyone you talk to, like, is willing to give you information on how to get better, like character specific stuff, how to use your character better, how to play against a certain character better. Just everyone just wants to see everyone get better. Some a bit more than others. Some for different reasons. But yeah, at least compared to online, it's a lot more welcoming. Online is a lot more vicious. Like, you can come across a couple nice people that you find online. Like, I've got a couple people on my Steam friend list who I played online games with, who have been like, hey, GG's, like, how do I play against this character? Or, like, GG's, like, here's some information about my character. Or I've done the reverse, where I've added them. But I also come across people who are, like, teabagging, G-charging, or, like, talking shit and whatnot, but that's in every game, really.
It's harder to hold people accountable online, so
yeah,
people can get away with doing different things. And I think, as I've said many times, including my recent video about trying not to have online rage, it's you need to keep calm and just do what you can to enjoy the game. Don't let someone else's actions or opinions affect yours in a negative manner.
But that being said, I am no saint. I have been guilty of being a prick to other people as well. But I typically try to keep it to myself. Like, here's something that I feel is a little bit of a grey area. If you're streaming you kind of want to entertain people, right?
Yeah.
So if one way to entertain people is kind of like to talk a lot, or like talk shit. So sometimes I'm in a bit of a good mood, and I just spew some random garbage out of my mouth. Like I call my opponents idiot, or sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm just having a lot of fun and I'm laughing a lot. But like I don't mean any of it. Like it's just I'm kind of, oh god, how do I put it? You're just kind of in the mood where like nothing's like too serious. Like if that person you are playing against comes along and watches your stream, they can see you talking shit about them and they go, oh, okay, well, that guy's a dick and I feel bad about myself. But it could just be like, oh, I'm having fun. So I don't remember where I was going with this tangent.
I think I get what you're meaning though. So sometimes while you're streaming and you've got all these viewers and stuff, you want to entertain, and if you're getting frustrated, you say things in the heat of the moment that might come across offensive to the person you're versing, and you don't mean it with ill intent. Sometimes you're doing it to sort of coax the viewers into enjoying the stream, or you're doing it partially for entertainment purposes, and you don't mean to offend the other person. They might do something and you'll sort of laugh and go, hey, that was a bit silly, why'd they do that? And you don't mean it to throw shade, you're just sort of commenting to entertain. Yes. So it's kind of like a retrospective read, you could almost say. Like if you're going to say, I'm going to hit them with Lay's forward 3, the opposite is kind of you commenting on something, an action they do because it seems predictable to you, or it seems out of the ordinary to you.
Yeah.
And then it can come across as if you're bad mouthing the person, and you don't mean to do that.
Yeah. Like there's a difference between like kind of like riding the high of like having like a really fun moment, or just enjoying yourself and talking shit, and going up to that person and specifically telling them, hey, you're garbage, just bugger off, don't touch the game. Like there's a bit of a line between that, but when you're on stream doing that stuff, it's a bit of a grey area. But I think if you're obviously not streaming, I think that's fine, because you're not actually putting that toxicity out there. You're just having that enjoyment to yourself, kind of, if that makes sense.
It's okay to be frustrated by setups. It's okay to be frustrated by different playstyles. And you're right, sometimes you can voice it and it may offend other people, and there's no intention to offend those people. Yeah. No, I understand that. I completely do. And it's a bit of a tough area, isn't it? Yeah. I think the most important thing is everyone needs to be willing to be held accountable to what they say. So like you said, you wouldn't go up and say to that person's face, oh, they're horrible at the game or anything. And if you talk to them, if they came and said, hey, look, what you said on the stream, it hurt my feelings, or I was offended by that, or hey, I was just trying to have fun, I didn't realise, so on and so forth, you'd probably apologise. You'd go, oh, look, I had no intention of offending you, I was just frustrated with the situation, it's all on me, it's not anything about what you did.
Oh, hell yeah. There've actually been a couple times where I've been in that kind of mood on stream, where I've kind of been like in the zone, kind of like doing my own thing, like having a lot of fun, and I would be talking like mad shit, like way more than I would normally feel comfortable doing. But then I would kind of hit a point where I realized, oh, what I said is really mean, and if they come across what I said, I'm gonna seem like a huge asshole, and anyone who like comes into my stream and doesn't watch FGC stuff, like for some reason, like I'm putting a bad image for the community.
That's it. Because when you're streaming, you are what do you call it? You're an influencer. Anyone who's watching you can take what you're doing, you're saying and acting and thinking that's okay. So sometimes we've got to be careful with what we say, but
Yeah.
it can be tough.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is sort of on the lines of Salt, or the lines of, I guess, having some kind of competition with the opponent. And I mean, it is a competitive game, and it's okay to get frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, someone has to lose, someone has to win, and unfortunately, sometimes you have to take the loss even now and again. Like, that's just how stuff works.
The last thing I want to ask you about your community is just about any particular rivalries or teammates you may have within your local community.
Shredder. That's it. Shredder versus the world.
Shredder versus the world. Maybe he could do a new series. He is a strong player. He's doing very well. He's becoming he's becoming much more known around the Oceanic community.
Yeah, I have no idea how he got that good so fast. Like, sometimes I play against him like, how am I not this good? I've been playing like the same time as him, and I get a little bit salty because I'm like, I don't want to be that good. Why am I not that good? And like, although that being said, almost everyone wants to beat him. Everyone does. Not everyone. A fair amount of people want help from him because he obviously knows what he's doing, and he's willing to give advice to other people. But unfortunately, in my case, I'm too stupid, and some things don't stick.
It's hard. It's hard to change habits. It's hard to change patterns.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, he doesn't. Is there any clear rivalry between him and anybody else? Because he doesn't seem like someone that would necessarily have like a negative rivalry. It all seems like it'd be sort of a positive, like we'll build each other up together sort of thing.
He's one of those people where if he has a problem with you, you probably won't know it, or you will do, but no one else will.
Okay.
He hides that sort of drama stuff pretty well.
I think it's fine to keep that stuff out of the community. If it's a personal matter, keep it personal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Do you have anyone as well as him that you might consider like a rival or a close, I don't know, like a teammate that you might sort of work together and you sort of go back and forth between you and that other player?
Me and Morio? Sweeper?
Yep.
Tamani. I call him Tamani.
Yep. Late player. Lead player, sorry, you're the late player.
Yeah, lead player.
You're the late player, my bad.
Why are these three characters who are off by one letter? Like, why? Yeah, he is a huge driving force behind me doing well, I think. Like,
that's good.
He expects a lot of me. Like, not in a bad way. Like, he expects me to improve, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I can, and I think he has more faith in me than I do in myself.
That's really good to have someone like that. I think it's one of the best ways to improve is to have a rival or a friend, to someone who can help push you like that. That's how people grow in this game. I mean,
you was my rival for God knows how long, but that's because like you were teaching me how to play Tekken, and I'm like, I want to beat him. And the one time I did, I lost my mind, and I went to a mutual friend. I'm like, dude, I finally beat Nick. Hell yeah!
Okay, so next we've got the trivia section. So I've got a couple of questions I want to ask you. Not necessarily quick fire, but yeah, let's get started. So with your main, I'd like you to suggest buffing one move and nerfing another.
Buff the recovery of Drunk 1 plus 2, the heal. Make it so you don't get launched for attempting to drink.
Yep.
And nerf Ray Sweep because the mix-up between down 4 and possibly getting like launched with sidestep 4 or another Ray Sweep is really annoying.
Sorry, what's Rave Sweep?
Down back 4.
Down back 4. Okay, so it's his Hell Sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was, but I thought I'd just clarify.
Nope.
Yep. So you're talking about nerf it so it's slower to make the weird 50-50 between sidestep, down back 4, and sidestep 4 less annoying.
Yeah, basically, so, like, if you do nothing, you don't get hit by down 4. Or if you do tech, it's not as annoying to have to guess between, like,
Yeah, I see.
sidestep, down back 4.
Because after you've been hit by the down back 4-4,
Mhm.
then you're stuck in that sort of game, aren't you? So you're saying make the Oki worse on that by increasing the recovery.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
gotcha,
that's a weird
gotcha. Okay, name a character that should be added and one character that should be removed.
Mokugen.
So yes, the random
Mokugen.
select button should be halved and given Mokugen.
And there's a bit of a topical answer for remove a character. Remove Akuma, but cheating quest answer, remove the 2D characters. Because I feel like they cause too much of a divide between people in the Tekken community, and it's honestly kind of annoying.
Okay.
Not playing Akuma or playing against them, it's just the kind of mentality people have between him being bad, good, others.
And the common saying of that's not Tekken,
Yeah,
although he's a character in Tekken.
or like he breaks Tekken, which I've been guilty of saying a lot.
The
still believe it,
mechanics
though.
are it's definitely different. I'll agree with that.
But yeah,
Okay, so add Mokugen, remove Akuma. That's your opinion? No problem.
Yeah.
And it's because of the 2D mechanics and just how divided the community seems because of it.
it's mainly purely because of how the community reacts to Akuma. Like,
Sure.
or just 2D characters in general, really.
Yeah. Okay, what is the best stage and the best music in the series?
Best stage. I'm not sure if it was the Lord stage, in Tekken 3, but the one where it had like the graffitied backdrop and like some.
Oh, Paul stage.
No, not that one, because that was in like a parking lot. I
Yeah,
think.
okay, no, I'm thinking of a different one.
There was it was kind of like a martial art training area, but there was like a dragon art on the wall.
Yeah,
Um,
okay, I know. Yeah, I think it is
uh,
Lord
it-
stage.
It was either that one or the waterfall stage from Tekken 5. I love that stage. It's so
Waterfall.
pretty.
Yeah, fair enough. Good choices, good choices. What about music?
I'm very nostalgic for Tekken 3 because it's rock, and I'm very much for that kind of rock metal music. But Tekken 5 is very nostalgic for me.
Yeah, okay.
That's my favorite.
Did you have a particular song or just in general Tekken 5 soundtrack?
The graveyard.
The Graveyard?
Don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, okay. I know. I think I know.
It has like taiko drums, and taiko drums are so good.
I mean, you can listen to all of the Tekken soundtrack on Spotify now, so it can be easy to find it.
Mhm.
If anyone's wanted to figure out which one that is. Okay,
Also-
next thing. What would you like to see with Lei moving forward in the story? So what would you like to see from, I guess, in Tekken 8? Or any
I want him
supplementary?
to do more stupid, silly shenanigan stuff. I don't have too much of an opinion on the story, honestly, but I really liked him having really silly interactions with Law and Tekken Tag 2, and arresting Ganryu in his ending.
There are a lot of
Um,
story premises that have kind of been dropped. Like, there's a relationship between Lei and Brian. There was one between Lei and Jun. Lei tracking
and
down
Asuka.
Feng alongside Asuka. And then Lei tracking down Nina, relating to Steve. There are lots of these different things. I guess he's just normally the police officer tracking down the bad guy.
Oh, actually, his relationship with Wang. I would like to see where that goes in Tekken 8. Like, if they use his story to confirm that Wang just died of old age, or if he's still around, if something
Yeah.
happened to him. You know.
Well, I mean, they could also do that with Zhao Yu being Wang's granddaughter.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's a thing.
Yeah. There are a lot of character relationships that are barely even mentioned, unfortunately. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like-
okay. So seeing just an interaction with Lei and a Grandmaster, or
Yeah.
more goofy things alongside Paul and Law. You think?
Yeah.
Paul and Law. Paul and Law. Yep.
I just like the goofy side of Lei. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Also, can I add one thing?
Yeah.
I have one move that I would actually like Lei to have in Season 4, which is probably a really dumb move.
Yep.
I want him to have a command grab in drunk stance, preferably in back turn, so the back turn drunk isn't as much of a gimmick. Make it so when he grabs them, him and his opponent share a drink, and they both heal. But Lei heals like a little bit more than the opponent.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, that would go with the sort of the gag character stuff, which it sounds like is an interest of yours for Lei. So fair enough.
Yeah.
And so people know
kind
this
of-
is recorded before the Season 4 announcements. So we're still waiting to hear on those. So we don't know what the new move for Lei is. We don't know that's actually happening tomorrow. So we might
Mokujin,
find
please.
out. We might see a Mokujin. We might see a back-turned drunken throw for Lei. Who knows?
Back turn drunken rage drive. I would find that funny. Also, fun fact: you can't actually use any of Lei's rage moves in back turn.
Okay, fair enough.
I didn't
Most
know
characters
that.
can't.
I didn't know. I didn't realize you couldn't do like Crane rage drive or rage art in back turns. Like, anyway, sorry,
Good to know,
deviation.
good to know. We've got two more things we want to talk about, and these are additional topics that you've requested to talk about.
Yeah.
The first one is demotivation, burnouts, and breaks.
Oh boy. I feel like everyone has been here at least one stage where they've been like, man, screw this game, I'm not getting anywhere, like...
The cycle of
Sometime-
Tekken is a love-hate relationship.
Oh yeah,
An abusive
especially with
love-hate
online.
relationship.
With online being like the main focus nowadays, like, there have been a bunch of people who have kind of phased out from playing Tekken regularly, myself included.
Yeah.
Because online is just a cesspool, man. Like, it can be at times, but...
So even just a Wi-Fi indicator, like we are going to be getting very soon, hopefully, that could help that a lot.
Oh, definitely.
But what are your thoughts on this matter? So, how do you deal with these situations?
I take a break and play other games. Like, I just pack away my stick, I put the cable in it, and I don't touch Tekken maybe for like a couple days, and maybe a week. I think you've taken a break for 2 weeks before, was it?
I've done more than a month. Since I've been a YouTuber, I've done more than a month break before. A couple of times.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not always as vocal about it. Sometimes I'll take a long break and I just won't won't announce it, or I might do like I play for only an hour a week for a while.
Mhm.
But I'm similar, where I'll take a break if I'm getting frustrated, if I'm not enjoying things, and it can be up to a month that I'll take it where I just won't play.
Yeah, and you can attest to the fact that sometimes I really love Tekken, I really do, but sometimes I get incredibly frustrated with it, and
Hey, you're not alone. You're not alone.
sometimes I just go, nah, fuck this game, and I ult for Tekken, not in the match, I just clarifying, I finish
Not in
the
the
match,
match, yeah.
I leave, ult for the game, just so I have that little bit extra satisfaction with a little F you to the game, and I go to Nick and say like, this game's bullshit, screw this game, I'm not playing this game again.
The next day.
And then-
So hey, I was thinking about. Yeah, that's the love-hate
Situation.
relationship, and you're not alone with that.
But I've had situations where I'm like, I have no motivation to play this game. I'm not getting anywhere. Like I feel like I've hit, like I feel like I've hit a wall, and I feel like at that point, it's just kind of time to say, I've had my fill for Tekken at the moment. I'm gonna put it down, go away for a while, and hopefully come back with fresh pair of eyes. Because I mean, it works with art. Like if you're staring at something for like hours, and you're just not seeing what you're doing, you just put it down, go away for a bit, come back, and suddenly it's like, oh wow, why did I stress over that? That was so easy.
Yeah, exactly. A break can do a lot of good.
Mhm.
And it can re-inspire you, can't it?
Yeah. I mean, when I had my 1 week break that I could think of, put the game aside and I just went, nah, I'm gonna start playing Final Fantasy XIV, and I just jammed that for a good week. And I came back and I went, okay, well, I feel refreshed. Here's some things I haven't thought about before. Let's try that, or let's learn some other characters, or how to play against them, what's punchable or whatnot, what they can do, and yeah.
Very good. Alright, shall we go on to the last topic?
Yes.
Okay, so you wanted to talk about joining the fighting game community with a mental disability.
I feel very conflicted talking about this because I'm very passionate about it, but at the same time I'm not I actually don't know what I was gonna say. I'm passionate, but I know it's not something that like everyone can relate to, or everyone has the same opinion on. So I typically try to avoid saying it publicly because I don't want to be like known as like the guy who blames his actions for being, being on the spectrum or something. But I have Asperger's. I am fairly high functioning autistic. I have bipolar and a medical record that is way longer than I would like to admit.
Yeah.
So every now and again you go to like a couple people, like it doesn't have to be like tech and anything, but if they're heated or anything, they will say like, oh dude, that guy is just like autistic as hell, like what the hell's wrong with him? And as someone who has that, it's kind of demoralizing. Like it's like, oh shit, this thing I have is seen as a negative, and it's kind of like, well, I can't help that, and it's kind of it's kind of hard to feel, justified being who you are, if that makes sense.
The fighting game community is quite young in general, and I guess there's a lot of signs of intolerance coming out now more than ever, and a lot of people going, oh, that's just the way of the community. And more people are standing up and saying, well, that's not okay, we need to change it, we need to better ourselves. Are you happy with the moves? Are you happy with the changes that are happening?
I
mean, I know that's much broader.
In a broader sense, yes.
Yeah.
But I do have issues with a couple things. Like, if I'm not entirely certain how to make like an analogy on this, so I apologize if I'm going in somewhere where I know I don't know exactly what I'm talking about. But like if someone says, oh, you shouldn't say, they called, like someone a woman when they're,
They identify as something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if they do that and they don't know any better, I don't feel like it's right to crucify them for that. Like, they should have leeway to, like, they should learn that it's not correct, and then let them move on from that. if they know that's the same thing, like that they identify as that thing, and it's a slip up, and they apologize for it, like oh hey, like if I call like oh hey Nick, how you doing, well man, like if that slips,
if you realize it's inappropriate and then you apologize,
yeah,
as long as
like if I apologize for that, then I don't see an issue with that, because you realize, oh, I'm in the wrong, people are uncomfortable because of that.
Yeah.
Then I think that's fine. If people don't know it's fine, and people go like, hey, you know, what you said isn't that cool, like some people may find it bad. Like putting it nicely, so like people don't go in heated and looking to cause an argument. Like if they're open to learning and be like, okay, well, hey, I know that's bad. I understand that now, and I apologize. Like, just having a bit of like tact or respect, I think. Or just being open to the fact that you can be wrong and not like my word is like law and the whole holier than thou thing.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, like just causing toxicity because like, oh, they made one slip up and therefore they deserve to be crucified. I don't think like that. That's right. Everyone makes mistakes. No one's perfect. Find me someone who is, and I will give that person a medal. I will handcraft a medal for them.
There are a lot of, I think, a lot of unintentionally socially inappropriate actions that may happen in the fighting game community. And like you said, you don't need to go off the handle towards someone just because they do something. If they learn from it, if it's a once-off and they've been explained, hey, that's inappropriate, and then they improve or they apologize, and then they do their very best to not do it again. That's okay, isn't it?
Yeah. If it's something small and they say like, oh hey, like I'm gonna try to be better. If it's like, if I knew someone for like 10 years as like a male and then they come out as a female, I would do I would try my best to like call them by what they wish to be. But if that's set in my in my ways, like, sorry, babe. If I'm so used to calling them by one specific thing for like a really long time,
you could slip up.
I could slip up, and maybe more than once. And every time I'm gonna apologize for it because sure. God knows I say some stuff I don't even mean to, and like, oh hey, like, do you want eggs? But in my mind, I'm gonna be like, hey, do you want bacon? Like, that's a completely different thing, and surprisingly, that happens a lot more. And I would like it to happen.
Okay.
Where were we going with this again?
So we're just talking about inappropriate actions or what might make you uncomfortable. So from a mental disability side, someone might make comments, and I mean, I think over the years there have been words that have been used as insult that people are really appreciating more and more now aren't appropriate to use as an insult. And this is where I said before, we're a young community, and when it comes to fighting games, I mean, there are very few people in the world where fighting games are their number one thing, right? They come from various backgrounds, various communities, and I mean, that's a real positive. But it does mean that people will come in with different understandings, different beliefs, and they may not always know what's appropriate, or they may say things that are hateful or hurtful. And while a once-off and someone slipping up or doing something and then acknowledging it's wrong can be okay, it's when it can be a repeated nature. For example, I'll give an example here of something that can be a bit hurtful. So a very common term in fighting games and video games is calling something bad as cancer. So that, I mean, I know there's a negative connotation with cancer, there absolutely is. But what about for those who are cancer survivors or have someone they've lost because of cancer, it can become a bit of a reminder, can't it?
Yeah.
So there are things like that that could be very inappropriate, and we need to do what we can to not offend people, because we want to be an all-accepting community opposed to one that seems like we're exclusive and don't want more people to join us.
And it's not like everyone's like a bad apple or anything. Like there's one or two people who are bad here and there, but like for the most part, the FGC is like pretty open and welcoming.
I'd say more than 99% of the community have no ill intent, and everything they're saying is with a positive or a friendly intent.
This is every now and again you come across people who are just kind of dicks. Like they will treat you how they would treat like a good friend, but how they treat a good friend may not be appropriate for someone you just met.
It's a tough situation, and it's going to differ a lot from one region to another.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the time, I think it is just about having that talk with people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're feeling uncomfortable about it, I'm not saying you specifically, I'm saying to the people listening, if you're feeling uncomfortable about it, sometimes it can just be a matter of talking to the person, or if you're not comfortable talking to them, it could be talking to a TO or just a friend that you have. I know when people come into the community, they often come in with a friend, just like you said before, that you started because it was a way for you to like bond with a close friend of yours.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be good to reach out to those support groups, or just speak up about it, because communication is our strongest tool, not in the fighting game community, in humanity.
There's I'm not sure if I'm just repeating what I have been saying, but I feel like a key thing that I would like to point out is that everyone is different. You're not, just because you feel like people should be the way you expect them to be, doesn't mean everyone is going to be. Like I've had people say like, oh fuck you, you're oversensitive, or like, oh you're too emotional, or like you care too much about some things, or you hold a grudge or something. Like shut up. So actually shut up is probably a bad response. we're wanting an open dialogue. Like you don't know everyone's story, unfortunately. Like I wish I could know what goes on behind.
There's a term we often use in healthcare called individual capacity, and the point is that you don't know a person's individual capacity. You don't know what they're capable of. You don't know their history. I often talk about it when it comes to manual handling training, and say, the big strong person, let's say the Heihachi of the group, you don't know if they have a severe back injury, and you might think, oh, they can handle that because they're big and strong. They can lift that box on their own. But in reality, it may be debilitating for them to even attempt it. So you don't know if you don't talk. You don't know if you don't communicate. And don't just assume.
Yeah, just treat everyone with respect, man. Like the way I try to treat people, and I'm not perfect with this. I try to give everyone like respect immediately until they warrant me not giving them respect. Okay. Like that's how I typically go about it. Like treat people nicely until they don't really deserve it sometimes, because they're just massive pricks or don't respect you back. No, not saying that you should go out.
Hopefully most people it's worth sharing respect with. They respect you and you respect them.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, we've been talking for a very long time now, so it's probably about time we wrap up. No, that's fine, that's fine. I had the long list of things to talk about. So, thank you very much for joining me for this this episode of DiaLOGue, AFT's DiaLOGue, Daveyin. Where can people find you?
You can find me very occasionally at twitch.tv/Daveyin, Daveyin, and at twitter.com/DaveyinBlade. Ignore the itchy name. I made it when I was young, and I I
Back
was in
when
high
you were
school.
drawing
Okay?
characters and thinking of cool names for them.
I thought Daveyin Blade was a cool name, and I thought Daveyin Lee didn't sound right. Okay.
No, fair enough. I get it. It's cool. Okay, well, thank you very much to everyone tuning in. Please comment below. One thing we did talk about was please recommend some Jackie Chan movies for Daveyin to view.
I will get around to it. I am very bad when it comes to watching TVs and movies.
Please
I
check them
intend to
out.
watch a lot of things, but I never get around to it.
Alright, please check him out on Twitch and Twitter as he suggested. And you can also ask questions on this video if you like. So
And
feel
Nick,
free, comment below.
where else where we may be able to find you? Yeah, I know this is on your channel, but where else can we find you active, my friend?
Well, I have another video that talks all about meeting me, but you'll find me on my YouTube at AFriendlyTree. You'll find me at Twitch at AFriendlyTree. You'll find me at Twitter at AFriendlyTree. You'll find me at Discord at AFriendlyTree. You'll find me at a Google search at AFriendlyTree. Anything at AFriendlyTree.
LinkedIn, Friendly Tree.
Steam,
You also have a Patreon, don't you?
PSN, Xbox Live, not that I use it. I have a Patreon. You can find me at Patreon at AFriendlyTree.
Support this man's Patreon. Get him a freaking hair and makeup department because God knows I need it.
Hey, I appreciate any support I get, and of course a lot of the support I do get goes toward charities. My most recent donation is to Beyond Blue, which is about mental health, which relates to a fair bit of what we've talked about at the end of this video.
Mental health is a serious problem, people. Don't
Anyway.
think like that, please.
We better wrap it up here. So thank you very much, Daveyin. We'll see you again soon.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Doo-doo.